Have you ever looked in the mirror after 70 and thought, Ab kya zarurat hai? Who am I trying to impress? Maybe your hair has become thinner. Maybe your face has more wrinkles. Maybe your clothes are simpler than they used to be. And perhaps somewhere along the journey of aging, you stopped dressing for yourself. You stopped combing your hair carefully. You stopped buying clothes that made you feel good. You stopped looking in the mirror with a smile. And you told yourself, Ab umar hi kya hai in sab cheezon ki. But today, I want to ask you a different question. Who said looking after yourself is only for the young? Why should a 25-year-old deserve to feel attractive, confident, and presentable, while a 75-year-old is expected to simply disappear into the background? Growing older does not mean becoming invisible. In fact, sometimes after 70, your appearance matters more. Not because you need to impress the world, but because you need to remind yourself that you still matter. Let me tell you a story. There was an elderly gentleman named Mr. Sharma. He was 74 years old. After his wife passed away, something changed in him. For more than 40 years, his wife had reminded him, Sharma ji, comb your hair. Wear the blue shirt today. Your collar is folded? Why are you wearing those old slippers? He would laugh and say, Arey, who is looking at me? And she would reply, I am. That one sentence used to make him smile, but after she died, nobody was saying it anymore. Slowly, Mr. Sharma stopped caring. He wore the same old clothes for days. His hair remained uncombed. His shoes became dusty. His shirts lost their shape. When his children visited, they would say, Papa, you should take better care of yourself. He would respond, At this age, what difference does it make? One morning, his granddaughter came to visit him. She brought him a simple gift, a beautiful white kurta. She said, Dadaji, please wear this tonight. He laughed. Where am I going? She said, Nowhere. He asked, Then why should I wear it? She smiled and said, Because I want to see my handsome Dadaji. Something changed inside him. That evening he took a shower, he shaved, he combed his hair, he wore the white kurta. He looked into the mirror. For the first time in months, he didn't see an old man who had lost his wife. He saw a man who was still alive, still breathing, still capable of smiling. He stood in front of the mirror and quietly said, Sharma, you are still here. That was the beginning of his transformation. Not because the kurta magically changed his life. The kurta changed the way he saw himself. And that is the first lesson. There is a difference between vanity and self-respect. Vanity says, I need everyone to admire me. Self-respect says, I am worth taking care of. That difference becomes extremely important as we grow older. You don't have to wear expensive clothes, you don't need fashionable shoes, you don't need to hide every wrinkle, you don't need to pretend you're 30, you simply need to communicate something to yourself. I have not given up on myself. Think about a garden. When a garden is young, flowers naturally appear, but as seasons pass, the gardener has to work harder. The gardener waters the plants, removes the weeds, cuts the dead branches, adds fertilizer. Why? Because the garden is old? No, because the garden is still alive. Your body is the same. As you age, perhaps you need a little more effort. Maybe your hair needs more attention. Maybe your clothes need to be chosen more carefully. Maybe your skin needs care. Maybe your shoes need to be comfortable and clean. This isn't about impressing other people. It is about honoring the life you've been given. There is something deeply beautiful about an elderly man who wears a clean, well-ironed shirt. There is something graceful about an elderly woman who combs her hair, wears her favorite sari, and puts on the earrings she loves. Not because she wants compliments, but because she is saying, I am still participating in my own life. And that is powerful. Have you noticed something interesting? When you're having a difficult day, sometimes taking a shower helps. Putting on clean clothes helps. Combing your hair helps. Walking outside helps. Why? Because our mind and body constantly communicate with each other. When you completely neglect yourself, your mind can sometimes receive the message, nothing matters anymore. But when you wash your face, put on clean clothes, comb your hair, and stand upright, you're sending another message. Today still matters. Imagine 2 mornings. In the first morning, an elderly man wakes up. He remains in his night clothes until afternoon. He doesn't shower. His room remains dark. He sits in the same chair watching television. He tells himself, what difference does anything make? Now imagine another elderly man. He wakes up, opens the curtains, makes his bed, takes a shower, combs his hair, puts on clean clothes, drinks his tea, walks outside for 15 minutes. Does he have fewer wrinkles? Maybe not. Has his age changed? No. But his relationship with the day has changed. Sometimes we are waiting for life to give us motivation. But perhaps motivation sometimes begins with something very small: a shower, a clean shirt, a comb, a smile in the mirror. Small actions can carry big messages. This is important. After 70, you don't need to dress like a teenager. Please don't try to compete with youth. You don't need to prove, I still look 30. Why? Because 70 is not a failure of 30%. 70 is the achievement of surviving, learning, losing, loving, struggling, and continuing. There is dignity in age. Wear clothes that suit your age, your comfort, and your personality. If you love bright colors, wear them. If you prefer simple clothes, wear them. If you love traditional clothing, enjoy it. If you like a particular perfume, use it. If you have a favorite watch, don't keep it locked in a drawer waiting for a special occasion. You are the special occasion. I once heard a beautiful idea. People often save their best clothes for special days. But what if ordinary days are the special days? What if waking up tomorrow is itself a gift? Then why wait? Wear the shirt, use the perfume, polish the shoes, open the curtains, go outside. Life is happening now, not when your children have more time, not when your grandchildren visit, not when you become healthier, not next year, now. Gray hair is not something you should automatically be ashamed of. Wrinkles are not your enemy. Age spots are not a moral failure. Your face is a history book. Every line has a story. That wrinkle around your eyes may have come from years of laughter. Those lines on your forehead may have come from years of responsibility. Those gray hairs may represent decades of experience. So don't look into the mirror and say, I look old. Look into the mirror and say, I have lived. There is a difference. A young face can be beautiful. An old face can be beautiful too. Beauty changes. At 20, beauty may mean smooth skin. At 70, beauty can mean peaceful eyes. At 80, beauty can mean a face that has suffered but still knows how to smile. That is a different kind of beauty. And perhaps it is deeper. Let's be practical. The world does make judgments based on appearance. We may not like that fact, but it exists. If you go to a social gathering looking clean and presentable, you may feel more comfortable talking to people. If you attend a family function wearing something you genuinely like, you may stand a little taller. If you go to the market after grooming yourself, you may feel more confident interacting with others. Again, this doesn't mean you should live for other people's approval. It means presentation can influence your own behavior. Think about an actor before going on stage. He may be nervous, but he puts on the costume. He adjusts his clothes. He looks in the mirror. And something happens. He enters the role. Your clothes can sometimes become a psychological signal. I'm ready. Ready for the day, ready for people, ready for conversation, ready for life. This is perhaps the most emotional part. Many people stop caring about their appearance after losing someone they love. A husband loses his wife. A wife loses her husband. Someone loses a close friend. A person retires and suddenly feels unnecessary. And gradually the outside begins to reflect the pain inside. The house becomes quieter. The clothes become older. The mirror becomes something they avoid. But grieving does not mean abandoning yourself. Suppose someone you deeply loved could speak to you today. Would they say, "Stop taking care of yourself because I'm gone"? Probably not. Would your wife want you to remain unshaven forever? Would your husband want you to stop wearing your favorite sari? Would your children want you to sit alone and believe your life has ended? No. The people we love would usually want us to continue living, not because we have forgotten them, but because their love taught us how to live. So sometimes, grooming yourself can become an act of remembrance. You put on that beautiful shirt and say, "She would have liked this." You comb your hair and remember, "He always used to tell me to look after myself." And suddenly the small ritual becomes emotional. You are not moving on from the person, you are carrying their love forward. Children watch more than they listen. If an elderly parent constantly says, "I'm useless now, I'm old, nothing matters, my life is finished," the younger generation hears those messages. But imagine a 75-year-old grandmother who says, "Yes, I'm getting older, but I'm still learning." Imagine a 72-year-old grandfather who says, "I can't run like I used to, but I still enjoy my morning walk." Imagine an 80-year-old woman who gets dressed beautifully every morning and says, "Today, let's see what good thing happens." That is a lesson. You are teaching your grandchildren how to age. And believe me, that lesson may be more powerful than any lecture. One day your grandchildren will grow old too. They will remember how you handled your wrinkles, how you handled your gray hair, how you handled retirement, how you handled loneliness, how you handled loss. And perhaps they will say, "My grandfather taught me that growing older doesn't mean giving up." What a legacy. There is one warning: self care should create peace, not pressure. Don't become obsessed with looking young. Don't spend money you don't have trying to fight every sign of aging. Don't compare yourself with celebrities. Don't look at social media and think, "Why don't I look like that?" Those images are not your life. Your goal isn't to defeat aging. Your goal is to age with dignity. If your hair is gray, let it be gray. If you have wrinkles, let them tell their story. If you need glasses, wear them. If you need comfortable shoes, choose comfort. If your body has changed, respect those changes. The goal is not perfection. The goal is care. There's a beautiful difference between saying, "I must look young," and saying, "I want to look after myself." The first creates anxiety. The second creates dignity. The mirror is not your enemy. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, don't immediately ask, "How old am I?" Ask, "What can I do with this day?" Take a shower, comb your hair, put on clean clothes, wear something you love, stand in front of the mirror, and don't criticize your face. Thank it. Thank your eyes for everything they've seen. Thank your hands for everything they've done. Thank your feet for carrying you through decades. Thank your hair for growing with you. Thank your face for recording your journey. Then smile, not because life is perfect, but because you're still here. And there is something profoundly beautiful about being able to say, "I have lived through many seasons, and I am still willing to welcome another morning." After 70, you don't dress because you are trying to impress the world. You dress because you still belong to the world. You comb your hair because you still deserve your own attention. You wear clean clothes because your present deserves respect. You look in the mirror because you should not become a stranger to yourself. And perhaps the greatest lesson is this: never let your age become an excuse to stop caring for the person who carried you through all those years, yourself. Your children may be busy. Your grandchildren may live far away. Friends may disappear. The world may not always notice you. But every morning there is one person who remains with you. You. So treat that person kindly. Dress that person with dignity. Speak to that person gently. And when you stand before the mirror tomorrow, don't say, "I'm getting old." Say, "I've come a long way." Then comb your hair, straighten your shirt, smile, open the door, and step into the day. Because 70 is not the end of your story, it is simply another chapter. And as long as there is another chapter, there is still a reason to show up beautifully.